We're going to continue our NFL 32 teams season previews. Last episode was the Detroit Lions. This episode, we're going to go ahead and move up in the AFC North in the third place division in 2021 to the Chicago Bears. I know Banks is excited. I'm excited, especially the feedback that we have received in the Detroit Lions season preview. So we don't want to disappoint. This one's going to definitely be better than the last one, of course. Uh, I guess Banks, what we can start off with, out with the old and with the new general
Yeah, there's
manager.
a new whole new regimen going on in Chicago. They got tired of that old shit.
Yeah,
So
so brand new head coach, brand new general manager. Last year, 2021, had a 6-11 record. New general manager bringing in Ryan Poles. Brand new head coach bringing in Mike Eberflus. Ex
Matt Eberflus.
excuse Matt is. Are you sure it's Matt or Mike? It's Mike.
It's Matt. It's Matt. So you get the so you get the hard ones right, but the easy ones you mess up. See how you
Okay,
is? See how black people is?
excuse me, Matt. Excuse me, Matt Eberflus.
Now, had his name been Mama Mama Baba, you would have been able to pronounce every letter, every syllable in their name.
Okay, so it's Matt Eberflus.
Yes, Matt DeVore, MATT, Matt.
Matt Eberflus. All right,
Eberflus, yeah,
Matt Eberflus.
Matt,
Okay,
Matt, yes.
former Indianapolis Colts defensive coordinator. We all know what the Chicago Bears trend is as far as hiring head coaches. They like to go more towards the defensive side of the football as far as their hires for the head coaching position. Banks.
Really quick, that's just wait. I mean, you throwing shade at somebody, the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins? Do you think defensive coordinator, defensive minded head coaches could excel?
I don't have a preference. If you can coach, you can coach. That's just what it is.
So you don't. So the whole leader amongst men thing doesn't. You don't think? I'm just being devil's advocate here because I just wanna.
Well, there's a saying out there like it's better to have a defensive head coach because they can help your quarterback become a better player. I'm assuming that's that's
Okay.
that's what I heard. Like that's the reason why Tom Brady became so great because he was able to work with the greatest head coach of all time, and
Hmm.
he was able to read almost any defense because you're being coached by the greatest defensive coordinator ever. So
Okay. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, not no arguments here. I'm just it was just a question.
okay,
Just wanted to know.
take that with a grain of salt, but to each his own.
Yeah, because I'm still salty about my guy. Gosh, his name slipped my mind right now. Uh, what's your old head coach of the Miami Dolphins? Yeah,
Brian Flores.
Brian Flores. I'm still very upset with that. I don't think I'll ever be able to let that go. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. You
You'll
want to
get
get all
over it.
legal?
You
Yeah.
you
Well, no, I
you
don't think I will. I think I'm traumatized by that whole because I can't believe the Miami Dolphins would do such a thing. But that's the Dolphins. That's just
okay.
shade.
Okay, so I guess first things first for the Chicago Bears fans that aren't familiar with the general manager, Ryan Poles. Uh, Let us know what you found in your adventure of recon about Ryan Poles, the new general manager for the Chicago
Yeah,
Bears.
man. Yeah, man. I mean, basically, it sounds like the Chicago Bears hired a winner for the most part. That's definitely the most important part is the fact that the Bears identified an area of need and they addressed it by going after probably one of the most sought after general managers in the game and being able to pull him away from a winning organization that he's established in Kansas City. Most recently, with them being able to capture a Super Bowl title, and then he also had two AFC championships, and then he also has seven AFC West Division championships. That says a lot. I mean, this guy's given credit pretty much based on the information that I've researched on him. He is given the credit for basically the current structure, the current what that the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole. He was the recruiting director at that time, the recruiting assistant as well. So he was doing a lot of recon on players such as Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelsey. He's given the credit for bringing those guys in. So that lets you know this guy knows what he's doing. And also, a little nugget I want to throw out there as well. I mean, he graduated from Boston College, so uh, there's no doubt in his IQ. You know what I mean? Like, don't know anybody who's go to Boston College. You know what I mean? That's just not just a regular school. That's one of the most academically challenged schools in the nation. They're very head first in terms of academics, and then they go out there and they put out a pretty decent football team. Most notably, some might know, Matt Ryan was a former quarterback for Boston College as well, and it's just so happened that Ryan Poles happened to be his left tackle while Matt Ryan was the starting quarterback at Boston College. So it goes without saying, this guy definitely knows what he's doing, and I think that makes me feel good with the direction that they're going. Again, this team review isn't about knocking the team. We're trying to find the good that the good in these reviews. We're not trying to expose somebody bad because we know the Bears are a bad team. That's even with bringing in polls and looking at the current structure of this roster, they definitely still have a lot more work to do. And I think Poles is going to get the job done. I don't know if they're going to win Super Bowl in a couple of years or not, but I'm very optimistic with the direction so far with him.
I definitely hear you. I guess again we're gonna go ahead and start this off with probably the most position in sports, and that's the quarterback position. Last year, the Chicago Bears drafted Justin Fields in the first round. I guess I should ask you: were you impressed? Displeased? Need to see
Um,
more in that category for Justin Fields? Where we at with that?
I'm neutral so far with it. So right now, um, considering he started off the year sharing snaps with your boy, uh,
Wait a
Andy
minute.
Dalton.
Uh,
Just want to throw that out there.
statistically, Andy Dalton was the better quarterback for the Bears, but he got hurt a
as
lot.
he as he should be. I mean, there was never a doubt in Andy Dalton in terms of whenever Andy Dalton plays, he plays pretty well. But he has, if we had to be honest, it seems like Andy Dalton is regressing a bit. And health has always been a problem for Andy Dalton too. It's always come down to his health. He can play. He can play the quarterback position. He led the Bengals to the playoffs quite a few times. So it's what I mean. That's not no coincidence. Like, the guy can play, he just can't stay healthy.
Right.
And I think that ended up costing the Bears. The Bears somehow pulled out 6 wins last year. I don't know how they did it, but I guess we'll take a look at that shortly. But they squeaked out 6 wins last year, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the defense stayed intact. Their defense, they're led by the defense. That's just what it is. But to talk a little bit about Justin Fields, I'm still I'm still feeling kind of neutral about it. Like, I don't feel like I could knock him for anything because it's just year one, so there's opportunities for improvement, of course. Even if he would have came out there and still had an explosive first year, I still would have been like, okay, it's only one season. We need to see more of it. Like, you know what I mean? So, but overall, let's pump the brakes on Fields a little bit. Let's give him some time, as we can see this, and we're going to touch base shortly. This is a this is a if the Bears make the playoffs, I'm going to just go ahead and say the coach should be the coach of the year, and Ryan Poles should definitely win general manager of the year. That's just straight up. This team on the offensive side of the ball, they are challenged offensively. So you don't give a lot of leg work for your starting quarterback. You don't really got a lot working with him. I mean, besides Darnell Mooney, and they even brought in Tajay Sharp, which for some reason he hasn't worked out. Then they got Dante Pettis. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, he still got Cole Kmet, but David Montgomery.
We gonna get to that in a second. This is what I need you to do right now. Is answer this question. Do you think that Justin Fields should have held the clipboard in 2021?
No, I don't. And y'all should know. You should know that answer anyway, because I'm one of the guys that constantly, like I said last year in our chat, uh, Teams ain't drafting quarterbacks no more just to sit there holding clipboards, man. That's not what that's not the game no more, man. Like these players, quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, a couple other guys I can't name off the top of my head right now, but just those two come to my mind immediately. They've changed that. They're showing that with the right, but again with the right coaching and the right personnel, you know it can work. But the guy has that quarterback has to be serious with film study. Number one, so is Justin Fields serious about studying film? I know I've been seeing him hit a lot of home runs at Wrigley Field a few times. I don't know if you saw that clip, but he was smacking home runs at Wrigley Field recently. That was impressive. He got some power in his swing.
Okay. I just wanted to see if he was going to be consistent with that stance, considering the fact we got
You
into
know this, bro. Like,
it was
how
a it
often
was
do I
a
change my mind?
it was a deep discussion in the group chat where we was talking about if quarterbacks should hold the clipboard their rookie year in the NFL, and you was very adamant about he should play. They need to put him in. Like
Absolutely.
they're not letting them do that. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I'm going to go ahead and stand by what I said, where it depends on what the situation is. And clearly, Chicago wasn't a situation where Justin Fields needed to go in and actually play because it can affect his development as a player moving forward, especially at the quarterback
Right.
position. So,
You're talking about the psyche part of things. Like it may not work, and he may crumble psychologically. It may break him.
yes, yes.
But you
So
do have a heart, man. That's good, bro.
who said I didn't? You the heart. Like I have the biggest heart when it comes to quarterback. Unlike you, you seem oblivious to what the supporting cast looks like, and you just strictly just look at the quarterback play and be like, nah, he ain't the guy. He got to go.
Well, I'm aware now. Looking at the Bears, I have no other choice. But you peel somebody's eyelids open. I'm like that right now with the Bears because this shit is trash. Like offensively, it's trash. It's terrible.
Okay, so expectations for Justin Fields in year two, his sophomore season, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, and Luke Getsy coming over from the Green Bay Packers, the offensive coordinator. Um,
Your expectation of mine.
I want to know yours.
Just get better, man. Just be better than year one. Just be better than year one. The most important thing is the turnovers, right? That's number one.
Right.
And also finding a way to get him protection. That's I don't know which one of those could be 1A. Like they almost could be coincide with one another. They could be 1A and 1B because it works. That works hand in hand. If you got a young quarterback who doesn't get time to throw the ball, which we have seen that Justin. It's no question about his arm talent. He can throw. He can make every throw. There's no question that he can make every throw. But is he going to be given the time to make the throws? You know what I mean? And is he going to take, like we stated at the beginning, is he going to take the film study serious with his new offensive coordinator? Because Luke Getsy is somebody. He coached Aaron Rodgers, so he has a nose for greatness. As much as I'm not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, I do recognize that he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play football, no doubt about it. But is Luke Getsy going to be patient enough? If he sees those little mistakes, is he going to be patient with Justin Fields? Is he going to go in there and say, okay, this guy isn't Aaron Rodgers, but I can mold him to be efficient. That's all it was about. Efficiency makes the biggest difference. Efficiency leads to wins and better red zone percentage and better third down percentage. The Bears are one of the worst teams in the league. They were 30th in red zone offense and 30th in third down conversions. That comes down to efficiency. You're not efficient. So, they need to work on those areas. Hopefully Getsy gets the job done and it helps him out. You know what I mean?
I got you. All right. So looking at the running back position, since we just got finished covering Justin Fields, which I feel like their success is so dependent on Justin Fields. How are we looking at the running back spot? Like,
Man, I mean David Montgomery, man, when he had 800 yards rushing last year. I mean that's still pretty okay, considering he had a few games where he was out with an injury. So but he still had over 800 yards rushing. I think he had seven rushing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 8 maybe rushing touchdowns as well. Um, so as long as he's healthy, you're going to get some productivity there. But it still doesn't make sense as to well, no, it does make sense because if the third that means the Bears were in a lot of third and long situations. That probably explains why because they gave up 58 sacks last year, so they were probably in a whole lot of third down, and then Montgomery doesn't have a good opportunity to get you those third down conversions because here we are, third and 21. You know what I mean? Like even if Justin Fields throws a 25-yard, a 20, well, let's say an 8-yard out route, you got 2 more yards to get. Oh, very next down, either the Bears are giving up a penalty or a sack. Now you're third and 13 all over again. You know what I mean? So, but Montgomery, the running back position is pretty solid. I also just want to point out, like I said, Khalil Herbert is another, he's going to be part of that 1-2 punch. But there's a guy that they drafted that I want to bring some early recognition to because I feel that this kid has a good opportunity in getting a whole lot of more snaps, and that's a kid by the name of Treston Ebner who played for Baylor. I've seen that kid play with my own eyes a few times, and let me tell you, he is very talented. I just think he needs to get the opportunity. And if David Montgomery doesn't end up coming back to the Bears, I think depending on how Treston Ebner looks, there's a good possibility that Ebner might be the future at that running back position. He got drafted in the 6th round, so you don't need a running back to be first, second, third round no more. You know what I mean?
No. Uh, I'm inclined to agree with you on the whole David Montgomery thing. Him going into a contract year. Khalil Herbert showed last year when David Montgomery missed time that he's a comparable starter in the league. So it's a strong possibility that Montgomery may not be the guy coming into 2023. We all know
Right,
they don't give running backs a second contract, so he would
right.
have to put up some Adrian Peterson monster numbers for that to be a
Yeah,
possibility after the 2022 season.
yeah, and he would have to put up numbers like that to even. This Bears offense is just so lifeless, man. Like I said, I mean, besides Montgomery and Cole Kmet, and I believe, and I know we're going to probably touch on this in just a second, but I believe in Darnell Mooney. I like Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney, he when you watch him play, he has a little bit of an it factor to him. I don't feel like he's a number one. I feel like he's more of a 2-3 guy, but he has an it factor to him. Like you can see him, he makes plays. I like him a lot.
He looked like a number one when he shook Jalen Ramsey.
I mean, you know, that happens. Y'all can direct all y'all frustration for the Rams winning the Super Bowl. At the end of the day, Jalen Ramsey and I think Jalen Ramsey deserves some respect around here, in my opinion. The Super Bowl winning Jalen Ramsey. Just make sure you put that out
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Y'all can throw all the shade I want to on Facebook, Instagram, private chats, Twitter. I don't care. Just say the Super Bowl champion Jalen Ramsey. That's all I want y'all to say.
Okay. So we go since we on the topic of pass catchers. I know you say you're a believer in Darnell Mooney. Led the team in receptions last year, had caught over 1,000 yards. But Cole Kmet, I think with the exit of Jimmy Graham, I feel like Cole Kmet is projected to have a big year for the Chicago Bears.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Had 93 targets last year. Didn't catch a touchdown, but had 60 catches. I feel like we can go ahead and just add like another maybe 20, 30 catches on top of that. And I think he could be a Pro Bowl tight end.
How many touchdowns would you give him?
I give him about 5. I give him 5.
He makes the Pro Bowl with only 5 touchdowns at tight end?
He makes the Pro Bowl with 5.
Okay. All right. That means he's going to need a lot of yards and some, and some catches. Boy, Remember we talked about T.J. Hawkinson. We know he gonna get his numbers. Then you
Hey,
got Kyle Pitts. You got
hey,
Kyle Pitts.
hey,
I don't know, man. He
they ain't
might need a
enough
little more.
balls. They ain't enough balls to go around in Detroit for Hawkinson to make the Pro Bowl.
Oh, they're gonna find Hawkinson. You best believe they're gonna find. They're gonna find Hawkinson.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put Cole Kmet up there. I feel this is the year where he's gonna
It's
make
not a
that.
bad. It's not a bad prediction. Yeah, that's not bad.
He gonna make that jump. I think he's gonna make that jump this year. They target him
Right.
like he's the second most targeted receiver on the team. So
Right.
I
And,
gotta.
and as we mentioned, it's a security blanket. The quarterback should have tight ends as security blankets. Like that's what Cole Kmet is there for. Then they also got, they got Ryan Griffin as a fact. He's a veteran guy as well as James O'Shaughnessy. I've never been able to pronounce his name correctly.
O'Shaughnessy.
O'Shaughnessy, yeah, they got him too. So two veteran guys at the tight end spot too that have been around for a while. I mean, you know, it can work. Maybe run a three tight end there every now and then, hand the ball off, do some play action in there, here and there. You know what I mean?
Right. So this is where things are gonna get a little bit interesting here. And
I'd rather not even talk about it.
when we gonna sit here and talk about the offensive line for the
Woo!
Chicago Bears, it's basically a pretty much a fully renovated offensive line where
Gosh,
it's clearly just a bunch of guys right here.
it's just a bunch of guys. It's a bunch of you and I thrown on the offensive line.
Yeah,
That's what it's
a bunch of you and I is just basically thrown on the offensive line. Honestly,
right.
if we're being honest, I thought they were going to go ahead and hold on
Well,
to.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, DeVore, but I just want to bring up one point that I think that's about the receiving position before we move on, because this has to be talked about too. The Bears drafted a receiver by the name of Velus Jones Jr. from the University of Tennessee. They brought him in to be that burner on offense. He ran a 4.31 in the 40-yard dash. This guy averaged 132 and a half all-purpose yards per game in 2021 last year. So I just want to throw that out there. This is another weapon that hopefully can come in right away and help the Bears on offense. I see the Bears probably going to have a lot of RPO going and some screens and stuff like that. They need to find a way to get the ball in this guy's hand. That's what it sounds like. Again, 132 and a half all-purpose yards per game. That's pretty vicious. So find a way to get that kid the ball. Even though he's a rookie, he's going to have to learn a lot of the game. Find a way to get that kid the ball because you can't coach speed.
So Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles found the Chicago Bears Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. That's exactly what it was. Thank you. He got his Tyreek Hill. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Okay. I'm not a believer in him. I just feel like he's going to be a kick returner. I don't see anything but a kick returner out of him, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll definitely see. Now, I was expecting the Chicago Bears to keep James Daniels because I felt like he was a pretty decent guard with them, even though they played musical chairs on the offensive line in 2021. But like I said, they did a full renovation on the offensive line where everybody's trying to find a home. Where you have Larry Barome at the left tackle position, Cody Whitehair at the left guard, Lucas Patrick, Sam Mustipher at the right guard position, and Tevin Jenkins. That's a big, huge question mark for me because I really didn't like the way he played in 2021. So
yeah, they also brought in the kid Braxton Jones.
Yes,
the rookie.
The rookie Braxton Jones. He was what round was he?
The fifth round.
Fifth round pick. Okay, fifth round pick. So it's definitely going to be a process. I'm a strong believer in having successful veteran leaders on the offensive line, at least one for an offensive line to be successful. But this is just something that we just putting together, and hopefully we can make something out of it.
Right. That's pretty much what it is. And that's kind of what when you think about it, that's kind of what the Cincinnati Bengals did last year too.
Yes.
When you think about it. They didn't really make a whole bunch of you know what I mean. It wasn't like that. Their offensive line still was terrible, but somehow they were in the Super Bowl. So I mean, I think if the Bengals can do it, other teams should be able to do it too. They found a way, you know. But I mean, the Bears don't have what the Bengals have on offense though. Like Joe Burrow has a lot of help. He has a lot of help. I
Yeah,
mean, everywhere,
especially the
running
receiver
back,
position.
receivers, you
Mhm.
name it. You don't
Right,
need a lot of time, I guess, within that offense because you got Jamar Chase, who you can just throw the ball in the slot and make him go do what to do. Yep. And you got T. Higgins, and I mean, come on, like, but the Bears don't have that, so
right.
we'll see
Okay, so now the defensive side of the football.
where they're
Uh,
going to excel.
where you think so?
Yeah, yeah, it's the Bears. They're going to always have defense.
Okay, I guess we go ahead and start off with the Robert Quinn, the former Miami Dolphin, the
No, no,
former
no, 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 no. The former Ram, then Miami Dolphins. Stop disrespecting us, bro.
okay
Don't let the people believe he was just a Dolphin.
the former. I'm still sick that Brian Flores let him go, but the former Ram and the former Miami Dolphin Robert Quinn last year 2021 had 18 and a half sacks. Um,
Amazing.
amazing. Um, which a lot of folks didn't think he had a lot left in the tank. But
Right. They thought he was done.
yes, considering the fact that they're going the Rams, I was going to say the Rams, the Bears are going to be transitioning to the 4-3. I feel like Robert Quinn is going to have another great season with them because that means he won't have to drop back in coverage.
Right. That's probably the safest prediction you're gonna make this entire 32 team. That's probably the safest one. Besides saying Patrick Mahomes is going to the playoffs or Pro Bowl. That's probably the safest one. If he remains healthy though, because Robert Quinn did have some issues with injury a few times too. But 18 and a half sacks, man, that you mean he brought it, man. He did exactly, and that's without the guy that you brought in to get the sacks. That's without Khalil Mack. So
Right.
just imagine how crazy that defense would have been had Khalil Mack, been available with Robert Quinn. I mean, Robert Quinn, his sacks probably would have got cut. He probably would have had like 10 or 11, but he still would have had a productive year rushing the quarterback. And again, if you got an opportunity, and this probably explains why the Bears won those 6 games, because their defense kept them around. If you got a good defense that can rush the passer, create turnovers, get sacks, put guys in long third and long situations, you're going to have a shot. Even though your offense may not be able to, you know, get you there, you're still going to have a shot to win the game because your defense is so good at keeping teams out of the red zone. They were in the what was it? If I'm not mistaken, they were in the top 10 in terms of red zone defense last season. Um, so I mean, that's big, man. That's major.
Right. Might want to switch that pick.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'm not gonna switch the pick. That's still no. I don't care. Hey, no. The Lions are gonna be better than the Bears. Like that's not happening, bro. No, the Lions should have been better than the Bears. The Bears beat the Lions 19-17, bro. Come on, bro. Like no, 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 no. The Lions are gonna be better than the Bears. Book it.
Okay. Hey, big talk. All right,
Hey,
so
hey, hey,
on the opposite side of Robert Quinn, the Bears went in free agency and got Alquandin Muhammad. But I'm I'm gonna go ahead and put out my sleeper player for the Chicago Bears, and that's gonna go ahead
uh-huh.
and be Trevis Gibson. Him being able to have his hand in the dirt in the 4-3, being a consistent pass rusher in 2021, he had 7 sacks. I think he can
Didn't they
go
have
out
him at
there.
linebacker? I mean, he's out there.
Yeah, outside linebacker in a 3-4.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he wasn't consistently. He only started 9 games last year and got 7 sacks. I feel like he can build on that 2021 season, and he can possibly make this a double digit sack season for 2022.
Yeah, and they have some depth at the defensive line position. Like I said, they got Robert Quinn, they got Travis Gibson, they got Al Quadin Muhammad, which I mean, they were expecting a lot of great things from him in Indianapolis, but he's another good solid player. And then they got Mario Edwards Jr., which hopefully he's able to figure things out too. They got some depth, so yeah, defensive line is they're I think they're fine there. I think they're competitive. They're going to make some noise there.
Well, now I'm looking at the defensive tackle position because of the fact that I believe it was Eddie Goldman. That's his name, Eddie Goldman. He
Yeah,
was the
Eddie
one
Goldman.
that he was the defensive tackle that opted out of the 2020 season due to COVID, and he didn't exactly perform the way what everybody was expecting him to perform in 2021, and then he ended up walking out the door uh, due to being released by the Bears. So in the middle, in the interior, you got Justin Jones and you have Angelo Blackson. So that's a little bit of a concern right there in the interior, your ability to stop the run because Robert Quinn on the outside is not the best at stopping the run. There's going to be a lot of
No,
pressure on the second level of the linebackers, where arguably in the middle we have possibly a top five middle linebacker in
yeah,
football with
yeah.
Roquan Smith.
Yeah, you have no worries there. Like, I mean, if they do happen to get if they do happen to get past the interior, I mean, hello, you got Roquan waiting on you. That's disaster. Like, if Roquan comes through free, you're getting tackled, man. Like there's no ifs ands or buts about it. You're going down. So
Right,
yeah, that's not a bad it's not a bad second level of defense there. You know what I'm saying?
right, of course. So this my favorite position in sports is the defensive back, cornerback position.
Mhm.
Now,
And by the way, guys, the reason why we didn't spend so much time on the linebackers is because outside of Roquan Smith, there ain't nobody else. So just want to throw it out there because it ain't nothing that we're talking about. It really ain't. I mean, nothing to talk about. So my bad, DeVore.
yeah. So the secondary, the cornerback position, Jalen Johnson. Look, I said it to you before about what makes Xavier and Howard one of the best quarters in football. If you
Yeah,
can't
one of
get
the best, absolutely.
if you can't get your hands on the football, you're not if you can't get takeaways, you're not winning games. And I feel
True.
like and I feel like Jalen Johnson one interception last year in 2021, and that was the against the Cincinnati Bengals when Joe Burrow was just being Oprah. I know you remember that game because
Yeah,
I think we both lost
yeah,
bets that game where I think
yeah,
Burrow like four interceptions in the course of that game. Remember that
yeah.
game?
Well, yeah, it was Joe Burrow was not the greatest in that game.
Yeah, he was
They
literally
they,
being
they
Oprah.
lost 20-17.
Yep, he was Oprah.
Yeah,
So
Joe Burrow.
that was Jalen Johnson's only game where he had an interception.
Right.
So in 2022, I'm expecting him to get his hands on the football a little bit more. Definitely has some bright spots versus the Green Bay Packers, able to I wouldn't exactly say lock up Devontae Adams, but was able to
Actually,
keep him in
yeah,
check.
yeah. Roquan Smith, Angelo Blackson, and Jalen Johnson all had interceptions that game. So yes, that was only Jalen Johnson's only interception all season long.
Yes.
And Joe Burrow's probably worst game all season. He got a pick.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't say a lot about Jalen.
Yeah. So
That
we're
don't say a lot.
expecting him. We're definitely expecting him to get his hands on a lot more footballs in 2022 before we decide to put him in that upper echelon of defensive backs, corners. Excuse me, corners.
Right, which probably explains why they went after the kid from the University of Washington, who a lot of people thought he was one of the top corners coming into the draft. He he's pretty good. He played opposite side of Trent McDuffie, who was a first round pick from the University of Washington. He can hold it down. He's a dog too. So you're looking at the possibility of Kyler Gordon. Most likely, it's likely that starting week one, depending on how well Gordon does in the preseason and in camp and stuff like that, he's most likely going to be CB2. So I like it. I like it. The Bears actually doubled down in the draft this year in terms of the secondary. I think they realized what you were saying, that they need to create some turnovers and they need guys that's aggressive, that's going to go out and get after the ball. So they went after as we just mentioned, Connor Gordon, as well as and they had 2 second-round picks. They took Connor Gordon in the first pick in round 2, and then a couple of picks later, almost 10 picks later, they picked up Penn State safety Jaquan Brisker, which, again, we're talking about program names, guys that are coming from good college football programs. Not saying that if you're not coming from a good program, you're not a good player. I'm just saying it helps to have these names behind you. They play on good defense and a good team. So I think the secondary might be a little better.
Okay, so real quick, I wanted to go ahead and cover um excuse me. Eddie Jackson. I'm sorry. Eddie Jackson. Now,
Yeah.
I
He
feel
still does.
this
He feel like he's been in the league forever.
yeah, I feel like this is a make it or break a year for Eddie Jackson at the safety position. If he
Yeah.
if he can't return to Pro Bowl form, shoot, to be honest, ever since who was the safety counterpart that used to play for the Chicago Bears that left for free agency a couple years back?
Was it Amos?
Adrian
Yeah,
Amos, thank
Amos.
you. Ever since Adrian Amos left the free agency, Eddie Jackson hasn't been the same player. So I feel 2022 is definitely going to be a make it or break a year for Eddie Jackson. But if we can create some turnovers in the secondary for the Chicago Bears with a Jaquan Brisker coming in at safety, uh,
Mm-hmm.
you just talked about who's the rookie?
Talking about Connor Gordon.
Yes, Kyler Gordon coming in from Washington. If they can come in and they
And
can
with
make
that pass rush,
yes with the pass rush, which they have some depth at the pass rush, they can win some games. They can win some
that's
games
why
with the
they won
defense.
6 games. But they're not going to win more games than Detroit. I just want to throw that out there again.
Okay, okay,
I
bro.
feel like you're trying to convert me, bro. It's not happening, bro.
Hey,
It's not happening.
I feel more confident in my Chicago Bears defense than your Detroit Lions defense.
Yes, but my Detroit Lions improved on the defense. The Detroit Lions, the city of just real quick, the city of Detroit, just as a whole, they seem like they're taking their sports more serious now, except for the Detroit Tigers because they just that's a whole other story. But in terms of football and basketball, they have been making some pretty good decisions. Last night, the Detroit Pistons clearly won the NBA draft last night. Clearly, I don't know if you caught wind of what they did last night, but they got Durant from University of Memphis, the center, as well as Jaden Ivey from Purdue to pair up with Cade Cunningham. They're going to be scary. Then the Detroit Lions in the NFL draft, some experts say that the Detroit Lions had the best draft out of everybody. So this is something to be excited for the city of Detroit. Like they seem like they're taking sports serious now again. So you better get on that, man. Listen, it's so cold in the D, as they say, man. You better get on board, boy. You better get on
Okay,
board. Don't be last to the show.
okay. Let's last segment before we close this record prediction, or pull the record up. Pull the record up. I mean, pull the schedule up.
For the schedule.
Pull the
Oh,
schedule
do we
up.
really?
Pull the
I mean,
schedule up.
this
Pull
this
the
the fun.
schedule
This
up.
the fun part for me. This is the fun part. So the Detroit Lions, not the Detroit Lions, but are we talking about Chicago Bears?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Chicago Bears 2022 NFL schedule. Let's see what we have here. All right. So week one. They start off in San Francisco. They're at home against San Francisco. Don't matter if they're at home or not. That's a loss. That's a loss. The very next week, oh, they get to go to Lambeau. You're going to so wait. So you believe that Detroit is going to?
That's a
You
loss.
said
That's a loss.
okay. So they're 0-2 right now. Okay, they get a break the next 2 weeks following that. They got Houston and they got New York Giants, so they get a break there. There's an opportunity that they may win both of those games. So we'll say 2-2, right? The following week they got Minnesota. They're in Minnesota. You going to pick them over your boy Captain Kirk? No, you're not.
No.
Okay, so they're 2-3. Next week they're in Washington. Well, they're at home against Washington.
Primetime game.
They beat Washington. Yeah, that's a prime video. That's a Thursday night game. You think they beat Washington?
That's up in the air.
Well, I need one because I need to know where I need to put the in the loss column or a win column. I need to know.
We'll give him an L. Give him an L. Give him an L.
Okay, so they're 3-4 right now. Okay, the very next week they're in Foxborough at New England on ESPN on Monday night. You give the Bears a chance to beat New England?
No.
You know, okay, so that's
why do they have two back-to-back?
Ain't no wise. Ain't no wise, brother. Ain't no wise. The NFL did what they did.
They get two primetime games back-to-back, though.
Hey, man, listen. Hey, it is what it is, bro. The very next week, they play Dallas. They're not beating Dallas. As much as you don't like that, you're going to pick. I know you're going to pick Dallas because you're going to put money on this game. I know it. You're going to take Dallas.
I'm taking Chicago.
Man, please. Okay, take Chicago. So they're 4-5.
I'm taking
okay,
Chicago.
no problem, brother. No problem, brother. They're 4-5. The very next week, they're back at home against your Miami Dolphins.
They beat the Dolphins.
Okay, so they're 5-5. The next week, they got to play Detroit at home.
They're beating Detroit.
Okay, they're 6-5. They play Atlanta next week.
They beat Atlanta.
Okay, they're 7-5. The New York Jets.
They beat the Jets.
Okay, then they're back in Green Bay.
Ass whooping. Back to reality.
Okay, 8-7. Then they got to play Philly.
Ass whooping.
Okay, that's 8-7. Then they got to play Buffalo.
Ass whooping.
8-8. Then they got to go at Detroit.
They lose.
It don't even matter.
They lose.
It don't matter.
They lose.
They lose. So they're not in the playoffs. They're not in the playoffs.
As long as they get a better record than the Lions, I'm good.
But they're not. Even the Lions' schedule is better than their schedule. The Bears are screwed next season, bro. They are screwed. They're screwed, man. Unless Justin Fields turns into, I don't know, who can he turn into and lead the team to the playoffs? I don't know. But they screwed. They may get 8 wins, maybe. And these are maybes, bro. Nothing. Even the W's are. They're gonna beat them. I know for sure they're gonna beat them. Come on, bro. The Bears are in trouble. They're gonna suck again.
How many wins you gonna give them?
I'm giving them 6. I'm gonna give them another repeat season. 6, maybe 7 wins.
Okay, so we kind of on the same wavelength here.
Because they haven't done anything that tells me they're going up like this. They're still here. Like they're either this or this to me.
My whole thing is, I told you the Lions were going to get 5. By you saying that the Bears are going to get 6, I'm pretty confident the Lions are going to get more than 5 wins. I'm pretty confident in that. Now
the Lions should have won more than those. They should have won more than 3 games last year. Hey. I'm telling you, bro. You're gonna regret this. You're gonna regret this so hard. And you know I'm good, but you know my memory is good. You're gonna regret this so hard, bro. Oh my God. I'm gonna give you one more chance before I'm gonna give you. If you don't change that prediction before we finish up the NFC North, you in trouble. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Oh, trust me, I ain't changing nothing.
Okay, see how stubborn you are? See how stubborn you is?
That's 2 teams in the books. We got the fourth in 2022. we covered two teams. The Detroit Lions are going to be fourth with 5 wins. The Chicago Bears. Yes, I may have overhyped a couple of those games that I covered, but they're gonna get at least 6.
Oh my god, bro. Okay, well, hey, you got to live and die with your bet. So I'm all for it.
And going back to that Dallas Cowboy game, is that a primetime game?
Yes, it is. You know Dallas is gonna be. Well, no, it's not a prime time game. It's a 1 o'clock game on Fox.
Okay, that game right there, that is Halloween, the day before Halloween.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and money line the Chicago Bears early for that game because I know Dak Prescott is going to throw 3 interceptions in this game, and that's gonna be the key.
Clip this. Just clip this. That's it. I'm not even arguing with you. Just clip it. Now, one thing I do want to point out, though, I mean, it's kind of weird, but you can get tickets to the Dallas game, the Dallas and Bears game, for as low as $62. So it's not bad.
That's
$60 to go watch Dallas play.
I don't need no tickets for me to get my money. I'm just gonna do it.
You got the NFL Sunday ticket. We gotta go nowhere.
Yeah, I gotta go nowhere. I gotta go nowhere.
I got my Sunday ticket.
Did you leave anything out before we end up closing this?
Nah, man. Listen, no disrespect to Chicago Bears and the fans. I do think that you guys are going to get better. I just don't think this is the season that you're getting better. I still feel like you guys are just right here. There haven't been enough moves yet, especially at key positions that to matter to make a difference. You do have a lot of good points. You do have guys like Mooney and Komet. You got Justin Fields. You got Montgomery. You got a very solid defense that you can ride. You can ride with your defense. Your defense is going to be, it's going to keep you guys competitive in games. But as we mentioned, as long as you can somehow find a way to keep Justin Fields from turning the ball over, you guys can be efficient on third down. You can be efficient in the red zone. You can turn those to points. You got a shot. But I feel like 2021 is going to repeat itself again for this team. I just feel like it. It's just not enough yet. It's not enough. But it's trending upward. Just not like the Detroit Lions, but it's getting there.
Okay, we're gonna call it.
I was gonna say, did your screen freeze?
We gonna call it. Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. Nah, we don't care what you said. Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. Nah, we ain't hearing what you say. Nah, for the bay. Fire!